Hey everybody, this is Darren Spadra with the Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times. This is Mike Lefkow. Mike, we're missing Evan Webeck, who is on assignment with the Warriors. He's continuing his Warriors duties as we look for another Warriors writer. So hats off to Evan for what he's doing with the Warriors. He did submit his picks, so we will have his picks on the show. Mike, how you doing?
Oh, doing pretty good. How about you?
Good, good. We're at the last
Getting,
weekend of October, which means the playoffs are right around the corner. So I'm feeling pretty good. Week
yeah, I've
10.
been trying to figure them out here and there, but it's still a little bit of a
Yeah,
puzzle.
it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle, no doubt. As we go into week 10, we've got a couple of leagues that are kind of exciting going down to the wire. I mean, I'm looking at the BVAL Mountain Hamilton. There's four teams in that race, but unfortunately, two of them weren't able to play against one another last weekend. You talked to Lincoln coach Kevin Collins, I think.
Yep, I sure did. Yeah.
How disappointed were they that they weren't able to play against Live Oak last week?
Oh, they were very disappointed. I mean, you had, I think going into last Friday, you had four teams tied at 3-1.
Right.
And so this was going to mean that two of the teams were going to have one fewer game. And that's going to make a difference in the standings because Lincoln and Live Oak were two of the teams that were tied for first.
No doubt, no doubt. Just got off the line with the BVAL Blossom Valley Athletic League Commissioner Bill Murray, who said that they've added a bylaw in the spring because of the COVID situation. So games that are ruled no contest because of COVID will just go down as no contest in the standings, which means that the winner of the league will be the one with the best winning percentage. So, I mean, it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out that 6-1 is going to be better than 5-1. So maybe it will clear itself up here in the next 2 weeks, and they'll have one winner with one loss. But it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, right now it comes down to Santa Teresa and Leland, doesn't it?
Uh, well, Santa Teresa and Leland have already played. Remember that was
Yeah, and Santa Teresa beat them.
right, right. So,
So if they
um,
end up tied, I guess the tiebreaker would go to Santa Teresa.
well, Santa Teresa and who? Live Oak or
Well, no,
Lincoln,
Live Oak and Lincoln would both have one game, one fewer game.
right? So if Santa Teresa or Leland end up 6-1, and they're Lincoln or Live Oak are at 5-1, then Leland or Santa Teresa win the league.
Right. Well, not knowing the schedule, so I mean, there still might be some games against
I
each
think
other.
I have it in my notes once we get to the picks. So when we get to the picks,
Oh, okay,
we'll
yeah,
go
because I was
deeper
going
into
to
this.
say,
A couple other leagues that are wide open. PAL Bay. I'm planning to be at Menlo-Atherton on Friday night. Burlingame can, if it pulls off the upset, can finish in no worse than a tie for first place in the PAL Bay. MA, if it wins, is looking at an outright league championship. They play Kings Academy the following week. WCAL going to go down to the wire. It looks like between Sarah and St. Francis, as we all anticipated. That game will be on November the 6th. Both teams have to win this weekend. Sarah is playing Sacred Heart Cathedral, and St. Francis is playing Midi. So you would anticipate that both of those teams, both Sarah and St. Francis, will win to go into that big game on November 6th undefeated and ranked number 1 and 2 in our poll. East Bay Athletic League, because the games against De La Salle in the Mountain Division don't count in the standings. Monte Vista coming in undefeated this weekend. They don't play De La Salle. Clayton Valley has 2 league losses, but one was to De La Salle, so you got to throw that one out. So Clayton Valley, if it wins on Friday night, is guaranteed no worse than a tie for first place. So big game for the Ugly Eagles. Of course, if Monte Vista wins, it'll be 4-0 in league, and then play, or 3-0 in league, and then they'll play San
San
Ramon
Ramon.
Valley next week. So a lot to shake out there in the E-ball Mountain Division. But you got any thoughts before we get to the picks?
No, I mean there's some good races that will be determined in the next couple of weeks, and we'll have to see what happens. I always
Uh,
look forward to the seating, though. Seating Sunday, and I think don't both sections seat the same Sunday this year?
yep, it's the
Yeah,
same
so there'll be a
Sunday.
lot going on.
So a week from Sunday, we'll get the seatings. I'm gonna try to map it out a little bit. It takes a lot of time, so I don't know if I'll have the time to sit there and go through everything. But the CCS is a 40 teams make it in CCS, 8 team brackets, and the NCS. Do you know how many teams make in the NCS? I haven't
The
looked. I mean, they
NCS
changed
is
the format.
seven 18 brackets, I believe.
Okay, so 56.
And then there's an 8-man football bracket.
There you go. Let's get to the picks. Starting with the Thursday game. Speaking of the Blossom Valley Athletic League, we're gonna start off with Leland being at home 6-2, going up against Overfelt 4-3-1. Overfelt's out of the race, but can play spoiler here. Santa Teresa and Leland are both 4-1 in the league, and Lincoln and Live Oak are 3-1. I'm going Leland to improve to 5-1. Evan is going Leland. Who you got?
Yeah, I think we're all going Leland in this one.
All right. Next game is also BVAL Mount Hamilton division game, but it's 2 teams that are out of the race. Although it should be interesting. I think the proximity between Piedmont Hills and Silver Creek pretty close. Silver Creek is 3-5. Piedmont Hills is 4-4. Evan's going Silver Creek, and I'm going Piedmont Hills. Who you got?
I'm going Silver Creek.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yep.
I just think I was looking at their comparative schedules and just felt that Silver Creek had played a little better in some of the tougher games.
A little bit tougher, correct. Santa Teresa, Piedmont Hills beat Santa Teresa 35-34 in overtime, and Silver Creek lost last week to Santa Teresa 14-9. That was kind of what tilted me towards Piedmont Hills, although the game is at Silver Creek, so that
was another factor for me. The game was at Silver Creek, and when in doubt, go with the home team.
CalPreps.com's computer predicts Silver Creek to win 27-21. In the first game that we picked, CalPreps predicts Leland to win 28-7. This game 3 on our list, Antioch's quietly 3-0 in the Bay Valley Athletic League. When I was going through doing my homework, the Antioch has gotten hot a little bit, right?
Yeah, they've got Jorge Hernandez has come back. He apparently was battling COVID at the start of the season. He's a real nice back, and that was really big for them to get him back. But the next 2 weeks for Antioch, they get Liberty and Pitt, and we'll find out how good they are.
Right, if they can win this week, that sets up a league championship game the following week against Pitt.
Right, and that is a game where you never know what's going to happen.
Antioch has lost 4 in a row to Liberty, including 20-0 in the spring. CalPreps.com's computer predicts Liberty to win 31-22. I'm taking Liberty. Evan's taking Antioch.
Yeah, wow.
Who you got?
Well, I was tempted to take Antioch, but then in the end, I said Liberty's still a pretty good team. I'm going to go with Liberty.
Game 4 on the list. Acalanes at Miramonte. Acalanes has lost to the big 3 there in the Diablo Athletic League Foothill Division. They're 0-3 with losses to Las Lomas, Campo, and Benicia. Going up against Miramonte at 5-2. Miramonte's 1-2 in the league. I got Acalanes. Evan's got Acalanes. Cal Preps has Acalanes by 17. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take Acalanes. I was tempted to take Miramonte, but I think I'm going to stick with Acalanes in this one.
This next one was a little bit tough for me. Campo Lindo at 5-3, 2-1 in the league, going to Las Lomas, 6-2, 3-0. In doing my research, Las Lomas has not beaten Campo since 2010, 9 consecutive losses. I think that streak will end Friday night. I'm taking Las Lomas. Cal Preps has taken Las Lomas by 13. Evans taken Las Lomas. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Las Lomas, but this is a game that I think Campo could win.
I think so too. I almost picked Campo. If it were at Campo, I would have taken them, even though they played their two worst games of the season at home to and to
This is going to
Benicia.
be a very interesting game. These two teams are very different. And like I say, I'm going to take Las Lomas, but I think it's going to be a real battle.
Right. Game 6 on the list. This probably should have been dropped a little lower to add some drama to our picks, but it's right here on Game 6. Monte Vista 7-0, 2-0 in the E-Ball Mountain against Clayton Valley, 6-2, and 2-1 in the E-Ball Mountain. Clayton plays De La Salle next week, so if that game doesn't count in the league standings, which guess it doesn't because Monte Vista doesn't even play De La Salle this fall. That means Clayton can win a share of the title with a win. They'll finish 3-1, which would drop Monte Vista to 2-1. So everybody would have a loss. I'm taking the Ugly Eagles to win. I think it's going to be close. Evan's got the Ugly Eagles. Cal Prep's computer has the Ugly Eagles 20-17. You gonna take Monte Vista? Or you taking the Uglies?
No, I'm gonna take the Uglies. It's at Clayton Valley, and I think they'll be fired up for this one. They know just like everybody else that if they win this week, that this is the key game. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out, though.
It will be very interesting to see how this one plays out. I was tempted to go Monte Vista. I didn't go Monte Vista last week against Cal, and it cost me a game.
I was tempted to go Monte Vista as well. This is a game I wonder if one of the teams will play a conservative or if one of them will take chances.
I don't know.
That would be interesting.
We're going to have Vitas Masica there to tell us all about it. So game 7 on the list, another E-Ball Mountain game. San Ramon Valley, 5-3, 1-2 in the league, but one of the losses was to De La. Going up against California, 6-2 overall, 1-2 in the league. One of the losses was to De La. California's lost 2 in a row. Both teams need the win to stay in the league race. Cal Preps is taking California 28-27. Evan's taking San Ramon. Man, I wanted to take California, but I taking San Ramon. Who are you taking?
Yeah, I'm taking San Ramon, and I'm quite comfortable with that choice. I think California's done a great job. This San Ramon team has got a lot of talent on it.
They do. They do. Are they going to show up? Are they going to play? Are they going to win this one?
Well, I mean, if they play up to their potential, I think really they might be better than Clayton Valley too.
There you go. They lost to Clayton though.
No, I know they did, but the San Ramon Valley team they're very talented.
Right. Game 8 on the list. So we're all taking San Ramon in that game, except Cal Preps taking Cal. Dublin, Livermore, both teams 5-3. Both teams are 1-1 in the league. I'm taking Dublin. Evan's taking Dublin. Cal Preps is taking Dublin by 12. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dublin. I don't know if they'll win by 12, but I'll take Dublin.
Game 9 on the list. These teams have quietly turned around their seasons a little bit. Bishop O'Dowd at 4-4, going up against James Logan at 4-4. Both teams are 2-0 in the league. I know Max Preps has Logan down at 3-0. I was trying to do the math since they only play 4 league games, and it looks like someone marked down the Kennedy of Fremont game as a league game for Logan. That was not a league game. That was a non-league game because Kennedy Fremont's not in that league. So anyhow, Logan can go to 3-0. They close next week against Moreau, which is winless. Bishop O'Dowd closes next week against San Leandro. So big finish for O'Dowd. I'm taking Logan on its home field. Evan's taking O'Dowd. Cal Preps is taking O'Dowd by 6. Who you got?
Well, I researched, and it appears that Marcus Sanders is back for Logan. Okay. And if he is, that's the difference in my view. And so I'm going to take James Logan. I'm not 100% sure, but it looked like Sanders played against Kennedy last week.
Okay.
And he is a very good quarterback.
And Logan already has the win over San Leandro.
Yeah, I know.
So
I think Logan has got it going right now.
Right. Game 10, Mount Eden 4-4 against Castro Valley 4-4. Last week, Castro Valley lost to Encinal by 1. I took Castro Valley in that game, and it cost me. You took Encinal, and you got the win. Evan took Encinal as well. I'm going Castro Valley in this one. Evan's going Castro Valley. Cal Prep's going Castro Valley by 2 touchdowns. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going Castro Valley.
All right. Game 11 on the list. Gun. Thank you for the shout out last week, Gun, for Gun Coach Miller, for me picking Gun to end Cupertino's unbeaten season. I think you took Cupertino.
Yeah, I did.
Last week. Same with Evan. This week, Fremont of Sunnyvale goes to Gun. Fremont is out of the race with two league losses, although they've been competitive against Los Altos and Cupertino. I'm taking Gun to win. This will be Gun's last game unless they make the playoffs, because Monte Vista, according to Gun's coach, Coach Miller, that Monte Vista will not be playing next week because I think low numbers. So no Monte Vista game next week against Gun. So that will be a forfeit win, I believe. Who you got?
I'm going to go Gun.
Evan's going Gun. Cal Prep's going Gun by 2 touchdowns. This next game on the list is pretty interesting because Milpitas has come out of nowhere. They've done this before. They did it, I think, when they won a state title a couple years ago, where they were like 0-5 or whatever, came back and got hot in the second half of the season. I don't see them getting as hot because they got Los Gatos next week. They're on the road against Palo Alto here. They're coming off the big win over Homestead. Both teams are 2-2 in the De Anza division. I'm going Palo Alto. Evan's going Palo Alto. Cal Prep's going Palo Alto by 2 touchdowns. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to take Palo Alto. We'll find out if Milpitas is for real, though.
You feel comfortable with this pick?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I mean, I think Milpitas is improved, but I still think Palo Alto is a better team.
Okay. Game 13 on the list. Half Moon Bay at Sacred Heart Prep. Half Moon Bay at 3-4, coming off the dramatic overtime win at Burlingame last week. Sacred Heart Prep is 3-5 overall, 2-2. Half Moon Bay needs this win, and they need Burlingame to upset MA. I don't know if the latter is going to happen, but I predict Half Moon Bay to hold up its end and will beat Sacred Heart Prep. Evans also taking Half Moon Bay. Cal Prep's taking Half Moon Bay. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking the Cougars. I think all they have to avoid is to make sure they don't come out flat, and they'll do just fine.
Next game on the list, another PAL Bay game. Burlingame is 7-1. They are on the road against Menlo-Atherton at 6-2. Menlo-Atherton is 3-0 in the league. Burlingame is 3-1. This is Burlingame's finale for the league. So they got San Mateo next week, non-league game. So Burlingame can clinch a share of the league championship with a victory. Probably, if they do win, would end in a 3-way tie between Burlingame, Half Moon Bay, and Menlo-Atherton. Menlo-Atherton beat Half Moon Bay by a point, 47-46, and Half Moon Bay beat Burlingame, as we said earlier, by a point, 42-41 in overtime. Half Moon Bay Burlingame has not scored against Half Moon Bay or against Menlo-Atherton. I keep thinking Half Moon Bay. Burlingame has not scored against Menlo-Atherton since 2017, back-to-back shutouts. I think they'll score in this game. I don't think they're going to win. I'm taking Menlo-Atherton. Who you got?
Yeah, I think Burlingame will score this game too, and they might score a lot of points, but I think MA will score more. So I'm going to go with MA.
Evans going MA. Cal Preps is going MA 38-17. So Cal Preps doesn't even think this is going to be close.
Well, I could I could make an argument for that as well, but I think MA controls its own destiny, both in terms of the standings and how
How
it
it's
plays
seated
on
at
any given night.
CCS. I mean, they're going to be in Division One. Now, where do they get seated? I mean, I think a terrific opening round game would be MA against Los Gatos, right?
Yeah,
As like
I
a
don't know.
as like a 4-5 in Division One.
Yeah, because I mean, you figure Sarah St. Francis, who gets seated third?
That's a good question because
I mean,
one of these teams
realistically,
they could
what's
get
that?
seated. I mean, what if Los Gatos is seated? Los Gatos could be seated third. I don't think MA will be seated sixth, so I don't think it'll be a 3-6.
Well, no, but I was going to say, what would be wrong with Los Gatos being seated third? I mean, is there any
I
other?
don't.
Well,
No, I don't have a problem with that. But do you think MA would be seated sixth? That's the only way they would play in the first round.
well, let's say the top four seeds are Sarah St. Francis, Valley, and Valley Christian and Los Gatos. So the only question is, do they seed Valley Christian third or Los Gatos third? And then the other team gets seeded fourth.
It'll be interesting because the way the point structure is set up, and it's very complex, and we don't really have a lot of time to get into it here. I will try to write about it before the playoffs come. But remember, they use also Cal Preps' rankings, and teams get bonus points. You get 2 bonus points in the structure if on the Sunday morning of the seeding meeting, one of your opponents is ranked in the top 100 in Cal Preps. And you get 1 bonus point if they're ranked 150 to 101. So we don't even know how the points are going to break down yet. They could, they could change next weekend, and these teams, it only takes a couple of points to change the seeding. In some cases, it takes 1 point. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, Los Gatos, Valley Christian has the game against Pittsburgh and all the games against the WCal schools, right?
Well, you know what I was trying to figure out? Okay, the top 4 teams in the West Cal are Sarah, St. Francis, Valley Christian, and Bellarmine, right?
No. I mean, you look at the WCal standings. I mean, Sacred Heart Cathedral, Reardon, they're all right there in the middle of the pack. I think it's going to separate this weekend. We'll get to these picks here when we get to Valley Christian Bellarmine. But if Valley Christian beats Bellarmine, then it's clear that Sarah St. Francis, Valley Christian are 1, 2, and 3. If Bellarmine upsets Valley Christian, then you've got teams, because Bellarmine lost to Sacred Heart Cathedral, and now Reardon. It's really, really kind of crazy in the middle of the WCal. We know 1 and 2. We think we know 3, but we'll see. Let's get to these picks.
Even with the point system they have, okay, where do you put teams like SI, Sacred Heart Cathedral? I mean, the thing is that Reardon has got a pretty good record.
Remember, it's not by records. It's going to all be by
I
points.
know, it's by
40 teams, so they might end up in Division 2. My guess is Division 2 or Division 3, probably Division 2 because of the points that they're going to get. But
do you have 5 West Cal teams in Division 1 or only 4 West Cal in Division 1?
It depends on what happens these last 2 weeks. I mean, what happens if Bellarmine doesn't win another league game and Bellarmine goes 5-5? That means they'll lose to Valley and SI next week.
Okay, so what
happens in this next game we're going to pick? St. Ignatius at Reardon on Saturday afternoon. Reardon's 2 and 3. What if Reardon wins this game and then they get Valley at home? And who knows what's going to happen up in San Francisco? I mean, Valley already almost
losing. I can't see Valley losing to
Valley already almost lost to Sacred Heart Cathedral.
And that's when the coach needs to pull his kids aside and say, "Okay, fellas, wake up."
Okay, let's get to these last 2 picks. St. Ignatius 3-5, 1-4 at Reardon 5-3, 2-3. Reardon coming off a 4 touchdown victory over a Sacred Heart Cathedral team that the previous week upset Bellarmine. SI has a loss to Sacred Heart Cathedral, but it was really close. Cal Preps is predicting SI to win 19-17. Evan is taking SI. I'm taking Reardon. Who you taking?
I'm taking Reardon.
So Reardon will have 3 WCAL wins. And
I mean, SI has got some talent. That's a talented roster.
Okay,
They're
so
another
you and
team
I are
that you
taking
gotta be
Reardon.
careful of.
Let's go to game 16. Bellarmine against Valley Christian. Bellarmine on the road. Bellarmine has not scored a single point against Valley Christian since 2017.
Bellarmine and Burlingame should play each other this year.
That means 2020, 2019, and 2018, 3 consecutive shutouts. Valley's won the last 5 in this series. Cal Preps thinks it's going to be really close. Cal Preps takes Valley 31-30.
Wow, they think
I mean,
Bellarmine's going to break that streak of not scoring, huh?
They do think that's Bellarmine's going to break that streak. I think we're going to find out a lot about Bellarmine here. I mean, Bellarmine has clearly made strides in year 2 or season 2 under Coach Beachman. No doubt about it. They were red hot early. Even last week against St. Francis, Ben Pfaff was really good. Wade Smith ran the ball effectively. They scored 24 points against St. Francis. I just don't think – I think Valley is looking at it like, wait a minute, we're still here. And we're quietly 5-3 and 3-2 in the league with a 1 touchdown loss to Sarah and a loss to St. Francis, and then the loss at Pittsburgh. I think Valley with Jurion Dickey and Jackson Berman will just be a little bit too much for Bellarmine. I'm taking Valley. Evan's taking Valley. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go Valley. I still think they're the 3rd best team in the West Cal.
So then who's 4? I mean, Bellarmine beat Reardon, but lost to Sacred Heart.
I think Bellarmine is the 4th best team.
Right.
And then from that point on, SI and Reardon, Sacred Heart Cathedral, I think, is capable of playing well on given nights. I don't know that they're that consistent. Yep. So I think it comes down to Reardon or SI as the 5th best team. And the question then becomes, do 5 teams get into Division 1? Because now you got to look at, okay, which non-West Cal schools fill it out. All right, MA, Los Gatos. So now we're talking about 1 or maybe 2 teams if only 4 West Cal teams are in there.
Well, no, you're talking about you're talking about Salinas is going to get in.
Salinas has got to get in.
And San Benito. And San Benito.
Yeah, what about Aptos?
Don't think Aptos is going to make Division 1.
Okay.
But they would be in Division 2, which would be a stacked Division 2 because you're going to have Wilcox in there.
Right.
Right?
Well, I would assume Wilcox. Yeah, I don't think Wilcox gets Division 1. Right. I mean, they'll finish the season likely with a 6-game winning streak, but still.
And you would have Palma in there too, probably.
Yeah, Palma's got a good team also. Yeah, it's.
I mean, Division 1 and Division 2 CCS are going to be – all of the divisions will be competitive because of the competitive equity. I mean, maybe not – I mean, if Sarah and St. Francis are clearly the 2 best teams, and maybe Division 1 won't be as competitive as we'd like it to be. I mean
well, you would tend to think that way. But Sarah a couple times has let games get a little bit closer than I would have thought they would have allowed.
Sarah's been dealing with some injuries, I've heard. So I mean, we all know about Mahasan.
Yeah, sure.
And St. Francis, man, St. Francis is a load.
Well, too, kids being kids. I mean, hey, can happen in the NFL. Sometimes football teams come out a little bit flat. They get a little bit confident. Who knows? And they don't play up to their capabilities. And, I think that happens to teams like Sarah and St. Francis, like anybody else.
Yep.
Hey, but
we should wrap this up. Check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. We're the Bay Area News Group. Sign up for a digital subscription to help us keep doing what we're doing. Mike, I look forward to week 10. Really look forward to week 11. And I'm even looking more, I'm more excited even about the playoffs, obviously. So they're right around the corner.
Yeah, the playoffs should be pretty good this year.
Let's wrap this up. Check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com.